Hi, this is Danieli Parker.
And this is Cristi Parsons, and we are
The Perfectly Imperfect Principles.
Yes.
Cristi, okay, I have been reading, and that's always dangerous because I always find little tidbits that I want to talk to you about. And I found one that you and I've talked about. We've talked about this in trainings, but I saw a wording that really stuck with me, and it's talking about collective teacher efficacy.
Which we know, listeners, if you don't know, that is Hattie's number one top effect size on student achievement is teacher collective efficacy. But I don't know if we have a shared understanding of what teacher collective efficacy truly is.
So, Cristi, I won't lie to you. For the longest time, whenever I saw this or thought of this, I thought about it. Okay, teachers working together, teachers working as a team, this shared ownership of the work. But I went back and I was reading it again, and something really stuck with me because, and I'm going to quote it from what I read, and just so our listeners are aware, I went to visiblelearning.com, and that is where I got this information from. So if you're interested in diving into all this information, that is where I got it from. But on that website, it says the shared belief by a group of teachers in a particular educational environment that they have the skills to positively impact student outcomes.
Okay.
And Cristi, it's about teacher belief.
Belief that they can impact.
Cristi, think about that.
Mm-hmm.
Greatest
so it's not just meeting.
Greatest impact on student learning is the teacher belief.
And let's talk about a 1.57 effect size, what that means. That means that you can have 3 to 4 years of impact more than if you tried the things that are 0.4. So you can get 1 year impact for anything 0.4, but when you get to 1.57, that's 3 to 4 times. That's huge. So you can get a child from second grade to 3 years growth if you're really using this wisely and making sure that this is embedded into what you are doing every day and every week and every month. But I want to keep talking about this with you, Danieli, because how do we help teachers form those beliefs?
I think that's a hard one, Cristi.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the hard one because that's internal.
Right.
You have to believe it yourself. And I think as leaders, we model that in our own actions and our own words.
Right. And celebrating the small wins. Do we agree, Danieli, that teachers repeat what they are successful in?
Absolutely.
When they see that it works,
Absolutely.
they start repeating it. I truly believe, and actually there is research, and I wish I had it right now. There is research, I think who does research on behaviors and beliefs? Okay, we'll look that up. But behaviors precede beliefs. So let's talk about this collaborative time that we have built in our schedule. If we're just checking things off, if we're just doing the work, if we're just, you take the lead, I listen, are we truly behaving our way into a belief system that we can impact student learning?
No. I think we're just checking a box because we have to. Mm-hmm. It's something our administrator told us, central office told us we had to do. Mm-hmm. I think the most powerful meetings that I have sat through is when teachers come in excited about things that their kids have done. When they said, you've got to hear this. Oh my goodness. Or they've even come in and said, well, I don't think that went very well. And they own when things don't go well, Cristi. Yes. They don't put the blame on somebody else. They don't put the blame on the kids. They say, I didn't do that very well. It's a totally different vibe in a meeting when you are in a room with educators that truly believe kids can win. Mm-hmm. A room that's just doing compliance.
Right. When you're in a room where people truly believe kids can win and they truly believe that they have impact.
Yeah. You hear solutions. You don't just hear problems.
Right.
Right. A room that truly believes in kids that can learn is a room where you are constantly hearing solutions to challenges. Rooms that are complacent, compliant, we're just checking off the box. You hear a lot of excuses and you hear a lot of blame. Or you hear the things that are wrong, but then not the conversation that drives to find a solution.
So we hear solutions. I believe we also hear authentic conversations, like put the pencils down, put the computer down, and let's have a discussion about this instructional practice that we're doing. Let's have a discussion around these 3 students. Let's have a discussion about the 4 students that already can teach this whole unit to the rest of the school, and they are bored to death.
I mean, and Cristi, when you have somebody, when I think back on some of our most successful teams that we had, that I feel fortunate we had the opportunity to work with. I always say that I had the blessing to get to work with them.
Oh, 100%. They taught us so much.
I had, the privilege of getting to watch them be amazing. When I think back on them and they had new people join their team, it was so deeply ingrained in their team culture, that belief that although the person coming in may not have shared that fully with them, they may have said the words, but they may not have truly believed it in their heart yet. By the end of the year, they were on board because they were constantly surrounded by people who believed. And when you're constantly being hit with, we believe, we know they can do this. They're going to make success. They are going to grow. They're your encouragers. Look at, and they're the ones reminding you, look how far they've come. Look at all these things that you have done. Like, they are each other's cheerleaders and encouragers and reminders of the great things happening. That it becomes contagious to where you want and you do believe in that. You do.
So what if we have a team that doesn't believe? Because we have them.
They're all over.
Yeah, we have them. So I believe as leaders, it's our, and I know you believe this too, as leaders, it's our responsibility to guide them to those behaviors that will soon turn into beliefs. Because we have seen teams make the shift.
Yes.
Right? But we've had to have hard conversations with them.
Yes.
I will say it because they love us. Our 4th grade team. They know who they are. Shay and Michelle, we love you. Rosemary, we love you. But they together were a little dysfunctional at first. But they became amazing. Amazing. Like, amazing. But if we had just sat there and watched it, each one of them individually has a belief so strong in students that you can't waver their belief.
No, you cannot.
No, each of them individually. And each of them individually had a belief that in their classroom, they were making impacts, right? Do you agree with that?
1,000%.
But when you put them as a team, it was weird. It was like, okay, y'all are our strongest teachers, and individually, you make impacts. You believe in kids, and you have high expectation for kids. That whole team did. But put them in a group, and like Shay always said, they would rather have drank Drano than work together as a group.
That's a true quote. She would say
a true quote. And so we watched that and we're like, okay, but they can be better together. So what we did is we had conversations with them. We had tough conversations with them. And we said, all of you are such masters of your skill that we need you to come in here and truly be a collaborative team. We don't know how that's going to happen. We don't know because it's up to you guys, but it has to happen. This is the non-negotiable. It has to happen. And you know what they did? They made it happen by celebrating successes with each other, by sharing ideas with each other, by sharing what they did in their classroom with each other, and by leaning in and depending on each other. It changed them. But if we had never said to them, figure it out, you have to figure out how to become a team and not just fabulous in your individualness.
Because we knew every child that was in that grade level deserved a team that was working collaboratively together to help them achieve their goals. We believed it. We believed that this task and education is too hard to do by ourselves.
Yes. And we knew they were going to wear themselves plumb out.
Well, and there was other teachers that wanted to learn from them. There were other teachers that respected them and knew that they did great work and they wanted to learn from them as well. And so it's seeing beyond ourselves, and it's not about me, it's about the team. And just as much as it's not about just my students in my classroom, it's about all of our kids within our school, that we can all work together to help them be successful, and that we all believe that all of our kids can be successful. Yeah. And Cristi, it's hard work, but listeners, if you heard one thing that Cristi said, I want you to, if you missed it, I want to reiterate this. As a leader, it's being willing to have that timely and needed conversation. Sometimes we avoid those conversations because they're uncomfortable, because we know that they may have a strong personality. And one of these days, I do want to get Rosemary on here for our listeners to have the opportunity.
Me too. I'd like to get the three of them. Would that not be a hoot?
That would be a hot mess. But they are phenomenal. But they have, what Cristi said, such a passion. And sometimes when you have to have those conversations with people that have such that deep passion in what they do, it is uncomfortable. But you have to be brave enough. And Cristi, you have to be willing to have timely conversations.
Yes.
You cannot wait till January. You cannot say, your PD is over, August is over, we'll address this come January. No, you cannot allow dysfunction to continue for months on end, because you lose all of that time. You have to be willing to address it timely, so that way it can start being changed in a, quicker, I guess.
Yeah, because
change faster.
What you allow to continue just grows bigger and bigger and bigger, right? And this was something that I believe we had to learn together. But once we started doing that, it just became natural to us, right? Because it's not easy, principals. I just talked to a principal the other day, and he said, "Oh, Cristi, that's a hard conversation you're asking me to have with that teacher." And I'm like, "Yeah. But it's July. Have it with her before she comes in August." And he's like, "Well, okay." So now I'm having to follow up to make sure he has the conversation. But I could tell he was so scared and so nervous. And I was like, why are you so nervous? And he said, "Because she's a really good teacher." And I thought, yeah, so were all these teachers.
It's hard. And Cristi, I love what you said, because remember, our title is Perfectly Imperfect.
Yes.
We're imperfect at this. This took a lot of practice, a lot of, I wish I would have done that conversation, a little different moments. But you don't get better unless you start trying. And if the conversation goes sideways and doesn't go well, don't hesitate to say, "Hey, I can tell there's a lot of emotion here right now. Why don't we take a pause? Let's both take a minute and let's come back to this."
Because there will be tears.
Oh, because we have emotion in this. We're so invested.
Yes. There will be tears and there will be some hurt, but this is what we have found. Gosh, been doing this since 2007, so I don't even know how many years. A lot of years. This is what we've always found, that people come back and say, "Thank you. Thank you for having the courage to have that conversation with me. Thank you for having the courage to have the conversation with us. That conversation helped us become better, be better, and do better." And we are so thankful. Never have we had one person not come back and say that.
So it's the beginning of the year. If you're seeing something, if you're seeing a team that's not truly believing, their actions aren't showing it, you see them going through the motions, think about what conversations need to happen now and take that deep breath, be brave, and be willing to have that conversation. And it may not even be about this teacher belief. It could be about something else that you've observed that's happening now. And you're thinking like, I should talk to this person, but I'm not really sure how to do that, or I'm nervous about it. Reach out to your mentors, reach out to fellow principals, right? Like somebody has lived probably the issue that that you're going through right now, and know that you may not be perfect in that conversation. You may not use the right word, but there's no shame in going back and saying, "You know what? I don't think I handled that correctly. I don't think what I meant to say came across, and I apologize for that, because I could see where it came off a different way than what I intended. And I just want you to know that was not my intention." So there's things we can do. And honestly, Cristi, when we lead from our heart, when we lead through wanting to do best for our school, you can work through a lot of things.
So how we started this was teacher collective efficacy is the highest Hattie's yield strategy for impacting student achievement. So I'm asking our listeners, will you please take a minute to study that? You can go to Visible Learning, like Danieli said. I want you to comment to us how you're going to this month address that, maybe with a person, a team, how you're going to celebrate it when you see it. Just talk to us, comment something about teacher efficacy and what you've learned from our discussion. And then remember, behaviors precede belief. And I was over here looking, searching. It's Daryl Beam who has that research on that. So as we continue to celebrate adult behaviors that lead to knowing that they are having an impact on student instruction and that students can learn at high levels, then that teacher efficacy will keep going up, 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 up.
Yes.
Yes,
You've got this, listeners. You are in the seat you're in for a reason. You are at the school you're at for a reason. We know you will do amazing things. And Cristi and I would love to hear about your celebrations. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Okay, listeners, embrace your imperfections and celebrate your wins.
Until next time.